Prayer. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of leaders in parliament for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention and deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interest you have committed to us. Amen.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable colleagues, good afternoon. Welcome back again. My first communication is about these colleagues from Kenya who have made our stay here wonderful. As you remember, we went in Nandi last Sunday, and in Nandi County, we were received by the governor, the bishop was installed, and the vice president of this republic was with us. We were given the floor. The members who were with us had to speak a word. With this, we have to really to thank Honorable Zipporah, who made our journey very wonderful. All the chapters were represented. Burundi was there through me. DRC was there, Papangate, and 3 of DRC. South Sudan was there, 2 of them. Tanzania was there, Honorable Makame and Machano. Kenya was there, of course. All of the partner states were represented. Rwanda was there with Ndangiza. Yes. And 2 days before that, Honorable Kanini Kega had invited also a team. We have to thank you. And before you, Sankok in Maasai land had invited members. We have to be thankful to you. Thank you for what you did. This is wonderful. Second thing is that we have one of our colleagues who has brought among us a new member of Eala 5, Honorable from Tanzania. Is she a girl or a boy? A girl. We have to congratulate her. I have called her this morning. I could talk to her, and I congratulate her again. She's strong, she's well. Third thing that we have, we have a PhD candidate from the United States International University who are with us in the gallery, and we could maybe recognize them. They have been brought by Honorable Gideon, our colleague. We have one, Caroline Shisubili Mangi. We have Laura Omondi. We have Larry Chula, Berita Kimati, Wausi Walia. Thank you for being there. We also have to appreciate the First Lady of Kenya. We would have started by this, by accepting to host Eala Women Caucus 2 times. This is a great honor to us, to Eala. And the last, after adjourning this house, we will have a Kamukunji. This is all the communication I had today. And then after this, we can proceed.
Order number 3, laying of papers.
Chair of the Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources. Is she around?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I was following the order paper and couldn't find the laying of paper of the report. Maybe I can seek for guidance.
You don't. So we can proceed with the next one, or you?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Tourism and Natural Resources on the on-spot assessment on the implementation of the project and the plans by Lake Victoria Commission and the Lake Victoria Organization. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Please.
Order number 4, report of the Committee on Legal, Rules and Privileges on the Domestication of East African Community Treaty and laws by the Republic of South Sudan by way of motion.
I call the chair of the Committee on Legal, Rules and Privileges to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, that the report of the Committee on Legal Rules and Privileges on the domestication of the EAC Treaty and laws of the Republic of South Sudan be adopted.
You have seconders, Honorable Makame, Honorable Dr. Magembe, Honorable Kanikega, and others. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to first of all thank the Almighty God for granting us good health and for keeping us alive. And we have the obligation to be thankful to him for having seen today's sunrise. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I'm exceedingly humbled for this opportunity for allowing me to make a short remark of appreciation to the discussion and the Eala business that this assembly has conducted since the 3rd March 2024. Mr. Speaker, it is with my deep concern and to duly extend my thanks and appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for sparing time out of his busy state schedules and accepted to bless the meetings of this assembly on the 5th of March 2024. And it is my belief that the lesson and experience he shared with us in his speech are and will remain of immense value in the light of our daily discussion of the assembly, but as well as gave us immeasurable food of thought on how we should look at issues affecting the community. In that regard, we are too grateful to the entire government of Kenya for the peaceful hosting the assembly. Mr. Speaker, this is the report of the Committee on Legal Rules and Privilege on this on-spot assessment of the implementation of the treaty, protocols, and laws of the community by the Republic of South Sudan. But first of all, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the government of the Republic of South Sudan for its courteous endeavors and hospitality that it provided to the assembly and to the members of this committee, and it is to the committee and its members when we had committee meeting in the Republic of South Sudan for a period of February 2024. To be more specific, here I thank the Minister of East Africa Affairs from the government of the Republic of South Sudan, who is also the chair council of this community, who accepted to attend our first committee meeting while in the Republic of South Sudan. And this was a direct expression of his support and the support of the government of the Republic of South Sudan to Eala functions and activities. Mr. Speaker, on introduction, the Treaty for the Establishment of the East Africa Community, which was adopted on 30th November 1999 and came into force on the 7th July 2000, is the constitutive instrument of the East African Community. On the part of the background, we have the accession to the treaty. Here, Mr. Speaker, since the treaty was signed between 3 partner states, all the other countries that are admitted into the East Africa Community by the summit under the provisions of Article 3 of the treaty are required to sign a treaty of accession with the community, undertaking to comply with and bound by the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community. The treaty of accession must be ratified by each country in accordance with the national procedures, and the instrument of ratification should be deposited with the Secretary General of the East Africa Community. In accordance with Article 3 of the treaty, the Republic of South Sudan signed the Treaty of Accession on 15th April 2016, and ratified the treaty on 5th of September 2016. Accordingly, the Republic of South Sudan became the 6th partner state of the community on 1st of October 2016, when the instrument of ratification was deposited with the Secretary General of the community. In effect, from 1st of October 2016, the Republic of South Sudan is bound by the provisions of the treaty. Domestication of the treaty in the Republic of South Sudan. Mr. Speaker, domestication is the national process of incorporating the provisions of a treaty into the legal system of a country in order to give the treaty the force of law in that country. Article 8, sub-article 2 of the treaty requires that every partner state within 12 months from the date of signing of the treaty to secure the enactment and the effective implementation of such legislation as is necessary to give effect to the treaty, and in particular, A, to confer upon the community the legal capacity and personality required for the performance of its function. And B, to confer upon the legislation and directives of the community and its institutions the force of law within the territory of that partner state. Mr. Speaker, in effect, from 5th of September 2016, the Republic of South Sudan was under a legal duty to domesticate the treaty and give the treaty and the laws of the community the force of law in its territory. Oversight mission in the Republic of South Sudan. Mr. Speaker, the treaty under Article 49, sub-article 2D empowers the Assembly to discuss all matters pertaining to the community and make recommendations to the Council as it may deem necessary for the implementation of the treaty. Therefore, the Community on Legal Rules and Privilege conducted an oversight mission to Juba in the Republic of South Sudan on 5th up to 9th February 2024 to ascertain the level of implementation of the treaty and the laws of the community. Objective. Mr. Speaker, the overall objective of the activity was to assess how the Republic of South Sudan is implementing its obligation under the treaty, the protocols and laws of the community. Specifically, the committee set out to establish, Roman 1, how the Republic of South Sudan is implementing the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community. Roman 2, how the Republic of South Sudan is implementing protocols adopted by the community, especially protocol establishing the custom union and the protocol establishing the EAC common market. And lastly, the status and level of implementation of the community laws in the Republic of South Sudan. The method we have adopted, Mr. Speaker, the committee assessed the level of implementation of the community laws by interacting with various public and private institutions and agencies in the Republic of South Sudan. The committee met and interacted with stakeholders from the following institutions. Number 1, Ministry of East African Community Affairs. Number 2, Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Number 3, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Number 4, South Sudan Revenue Authority. 5, Ministry of Interior, Directorate of Civil Registry and National Identification. And the 6th, Private Sector's Representative, where we met with academia, media, and business community. Mr. Speaker, meeting with the chairperson EAC Council of Ministers. On 5th of February 2024, the committee met and interacted with Honorable Deng, Minister of East African Community Affairs and Chairperson of the East African Council of Ministers. The minister also opened the interactions of the committee with the stakeholders on 6 February 2024. The minister reaffirmed to the committee the commitment of the Republic of South Sudan to implement the treaty and laws passed by the Assembly, and informed the committee that the Minister of East African Community Affairs is looking forward to the report of the committee and recommendation of the Assembly in this regard. Mr. Speaker, the following are the findings of the committee from the interaction with stakeholders. The committee established the following. Number one, the Republic of South Sudan has not yet domesticated the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community as required by Article 8, Sub-Article 2 of the treaty. Number two, whereas the ministry responsible for EAC affairs and the ministry responsible for justice and constitutional affairs developed the East African Community Treaty Bill in 2023, whose objective is to domesticate the treaty. To date, the bill has not been presented to the Council of Ministers. Here is the Cabinet of the Republic of South Sudan for approval as required by the national processes being submitted to the Transitional National Legislative Assembly for debate and enactment. Number three, the committee found that in the case of Custom Union, the Republic of South Sudan is still implementing the Custom Service Act of 2013 instead of the EAC Custom Management Act of 2004, which is the community law implementing the treaty and the EAC Custom Union protocols on matters relating to the Custom Union. Number four, the committee found that in the case of immigration and other aspects relating to free movement of persons as provided for by the protocol on establishment of the EAC common market, the Republic of South Sudan is still requires a visa for citizens from the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Number two, all EAC citizens are required to report and register their presence with the nearest competent authority within 3 days after entering the Republic of South Sudan at a prescribed fee. This is a requirement by the Passport and Immigration Act of 2011, Cap 6, Section 25 on registration of aliens. And lastly, the committee was also informed by the Director of Civil Registry and National Identification that the Republic of South Sudan is in the final stages of commencing the issuing of the EAC e-passport to her citizens. Number five, Mr. Speaker, the committee found that there is a visa-free entry into Republic of South Sudan for citizens of Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and United Republic of Tanzania. Number six, we found that they await domestication of the treaty, critical department of the government of Republic of South Sudan, like the South Sudan Revenue Authority, have taken some steps to implement the custom law and the treaty, including Roman 1, deploying custom officers to the ports in the Mombasa and Dar es Salaam as part of the implementation of the EAC single custom territory. Roman 2, developing exception regulations under the Custom Service Act of 2013, which take into account the harmonized exceptions regime under the EAC Custom Management Act of 2004. Establishing harmonized system and rules of origin units within the South Sudan Revenue Authority. Number 4, training custom officers and clearing agents on the HS tariff book, the EAC Common External Tariff, and the EAC Rules of Origin. Number 5, full participation in all meetings and programs of the EAC sectoral committees, including the Committee on Customs and the Forum of Revenue Authority Commissioners General. Number 7, in addition to prevailing national security concerns, some of the challenges that 30 departments and agencies of the government of the Republic of South Sudan faces in implementation of the treaty, protocols, and other laws of the community include the need to balance the benefit of free movement of persons under the EAC treaty with daunting national security challenges.
Procedure, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with due respect from the chairman of the legal committee, I think is reading line by line. You know, I think he should just summarize because already his time is up and he still have several pages. Is it, you can just summarize. So I seek your guidance, Honorable Speaker, not guidance from Honorable Kanini, it is from you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, if you...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me summarize.
Yes, please.
But I thought these are very important issues for the Assembly to take a note with regard to implementation of our own laws. Mr. Speaker, I was reading in addition to prevailing national security concerns, some of the challenges that department of and agencies of the government of the Republic of South Sudan faces in implementation of the treaty, protocols, and other laws of the community include the need to balance the benefit of free movement of persons under the EAC treaty with the daunting national security challenges, including border control challenges arising from porous borders, immigration management, documentation and verification, and lack of standardized identification systems. Number 2, transitional crime, including human trafficking and smuggling. And lastly, threat of terrorism and extremists. On observation, Mr. Speaker, the committee made the following observation. First, treaties do not automatically become law. Upon ratification in the Republic of South Sudan, Article 55 of the Constitution, provide that the legislative competence of the national government vests in the national legislative on all matters assigned to the national government in Schedule A, C, and D, which include the international treaties in terms of in item 25 of the Schedule A of the Constitution. In effect, the treaty for establishment of the EAC did not get the force of law upon ratification, but will require enactment of the national legislative in accordance with Article 55 of the Constitution.
You can maybe go on recommendations because you only have 2 minutes to go.
Okay, so let me finish this. When Republic of South Sudan signed the treaty on 15th of April 2015, she undertook under Article 2, Sub-Article 4 of the Treaty of Accession that the Republic of South Sudan shall within 12 months secure the enactment and the effective implementation of such legislation as is necessary to give effect of the treaty. In particular, to confer upon the community the legal capacity and personality required for the performance of its function. And number 2, to confer upon the legislation, the regulations and directive of the community and its institutions the force of law within the territory. This obligation is still unfulfilled by the Republic of South Sudan. The 12 months is provided by Article 8, Sub-Article 2 of the treaty, lapsed in October 2017, which is now 7 years have lapsed. Mr. Speaker, on part of the recommendation, the Committee on Legal Rules and Privilege recommends as follows. First, the Republic of South Sudan expedites the national processes for domesticating the treaty by fast-tracking the enactment of the East African Community Treaty Bill into law in order to give the treaty the force of law in the Republic of South Sudan, and to facilitate the implementation of the programs and activities of the community in the Republic of South Sudan. Number 2, we recommend that the Council should ensure that the roadmap for the integration of the Republic of South Sudan into the community is implemented as directed by the 22nd Ordinary Summit of the EAC heads of states. The Council should identify and allocate specific resources for the implementation of the roadmap, and the chairperson of the Council should, within 6 months, submit to the House a report on the implementation of the roadmap. Number 3, we recommend that the EAC Secretariat should urgently work with the ministry responsible for the EAC affairs in the Republic of South Sudan to carry out an audit of laws and institutions that need to be harmonized with the treaty, protocols, and other laws of the community to facilitate smooth and effective implementation of the treaty in the Republic of South Sudan. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, we recommend that the Assembly direct the relevant committees of the Assembly, in bracket communication, trade and investment, and the general purpose, to examine the matters relating to implementation of the custom union and the common market in the Republic of South Sudan, and report it to the House. Number 5, Mr. Speaker, we recommend that the Republic of South Sudan should urgently consider waiving immigration visa requirement for citizens of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and alien registration and exit permit fees and the requirement for all citizens of the East African partner state in order to facilitate free movement of persons within the community. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommended that the ministry responsible for EAC affairs in the Republic of South Sudan and the organs and institutions of the community, including the Assembly, enhance awareness and sensitization of the citizens of the Republic of South Sudan on EAC treaty, protocol, and laws of the community. Mr. Speaker, I beg to report.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. You have taken more than 35 minutes. Honorable members, the motion on the floor is that the report of the Committee on Legal, Rules and Privileges on domestication of EAC treaty and laws by the Republic of South Sudan be adopted. Debate is open. We have Honorable Makame, Honorable Sankok, and Honorable Kanini Kega, and the Honorable Akol Rose. Others? Matthias? We start with Honorable Makame.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice on this important report prepared by the Legal Rules and Privileges Committee. At the outset, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to congratulate the chairperson and members of the Legal Rules and Privileges Committee for coming out with such an articulate report that is very informative and is bringing some issues that are worth pondering. Mr. Speaker, we've had the chairperson presenting very eloquently, clearly, and the findings and observations and recommendations have been enumerated that really point out that there's something that is wanting. And what is wanting is stewardship. And stewardship of the community, Mr. Speaker, is being provided by the Council of Ministers. Mr. Speaker, you will note that we get annual reports, though in arrears, because the annual report which come to the community, to this house, they come like the annual. Now we are dealing with an annual report for 2020-2021. When we came in the previous assembly, we were dealing with annual reports which were 10 years older. And these annual reports are meant to report to the House and through the House to the people of East African Community on implementation of the EAC integration project and the treaty and the protocols of the community. Mr. Speaker, committing to implement the treaty is one, and the actual implementation is the other one. So we need both. We need a commitment in terms of signing the treaty, but also we need proper implementation. The reports, observations and findings, especially on implementation of Article 8.2 of the treaty. Mr. Speaker, that the treaty has not been domesticated, that the laws of the community are not being implemented by a partner state. It means more work needs to be done for the treaty and laws and protocols to be implemented. So, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't venture much because I can see in the order paper, I have been slotted for the question to the council. And this question is asking in general, and these are general things which the council should be following up. Because, Mr. Speaker, you know, it's as though the council has decided that it has divorced the community. The council is sitting in the capitals and has left the secretariat and the secretary general to take charge of the implementation of the community. And there's no one overseeing the implementation. No one overseeing the secretariat, no one overseeing the implementation of the treaty and the protocols. It's time now, Mr. Speaker, for the council to fill its space and do its duty. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't spend much time. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to add my voice so that I give opportunity for others also to debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Makame, for your contribution. Now we go to Honorable Sanko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And from the onset, I want to thank the chairman of the committee, Honorable Mashaka Kalfan Ngole, together with the rest of members of that committee, for a very elaborate report that they have given us today. It is an informative report. We have learned quite some articles and some laws of the Republic of South Sudan. That is a very informative report. Honorable Speaker, and without domesticating any international instrument that have been ratified by a country, then it will not be implemented. We have international instruments, not only from EAC or Africa, but also even from the United Nations, that some of our partner states have ratified and were able to domesticate international instruments from the United Nations. How difficult is it for us to really ratify and implement our own from our own region? I remember the Rome Statute of ICC were ratified by Kenya on 5th March 2005. And within 4 months, already laws were in place for us to be able to domesticate it. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability was ratified in Kenya in 2008 on May 18th. By the end of that year, we already had all the instruments required for us to be able to implement such international instruments. Honorable Speaker, I find it difficult that our own regional instrument take a lot of time. And Honorable Speaker, in the same vein, I want to ask the chairman of the legal committee. Now that the treaty in Article 8.2 talk about 12 months, which have elapsed in terms of domesticating the treaty, what are the consequences after the 12 months have elapsed? Does it mean that the Republic of South Sudan, the treaty is no longer binding, or what is the consequence of not following Article 8.2 of 12 months before it is domesticated? The other question that I had, Honorable Speaker, is to our brothers from the Republic of South Sudan. In the Republic of South Sudan, is there presidential directives? Because that may be another legal shortcut to implementing some of these international treaties. Because I remember when we had the African Protocol on older persons and persons with disabilities, we find it at the time that we had a lot of campaign in Kenya. But how we started implementing it even before we domesticated it was through presidential directives. So if there is a provision for presidential directives in the Republic of South Sudan, we want to know and urge our brothers to use it as a legal shortcut in the implementation of the treaty. Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda now use the ID, because I also, from the report, there is challenges of people from member states traveling to the Republic of South Sudan. They have some challenges. Is there a way that we can use our identity card to be able to travel? Because I think it was Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, if I'm not wrong, even South Sudan, Republic of South Sudan, I don't know if we also use our national identity card to be able to travel, because that is another way of, before you domesticate the treaty, we can make sure that our members, our citizens, can travel freely in the common, is it in the custom union protocol, so that at least, even if we have not yet domesticated, the custom union pillar can be achieved through the use of identity cards. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support the report.
Thank you, Honorable Sankok. Now, Honorable Kanini Kega.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support and associate myself with the sentiments that have been expressed very well by our chair, our chair, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, ordinarily, I know you give the first opportunity to members who are not in the committee, but I want to confirm that I am a member of the committee, and I would really want to give first-hand experience of what we went through when we went to Juba, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that from the records, Juba or the Republic of South Sudan deposited their instruments, I think on the 1st of October 2016, and they were to do the domestication of the laws within 12 months. Honorable Speaker, it has not been done. In essence, what it means that all those protocols that we are talking about are not in effect in South Sudan. The immunities that everybody, the members of East Africa and East African members enjoy elsewhere, legally, you are not enjoying them in South Sudan. And Honorable Speaker, I remember even from the airport, how everything was arranged, how the reception was done, and our interactions where you could clearly see there is a total difference from the other areas that we go. Honorable Speaker, I remember the conversation that there is a conversation that we had with senior government officials, and we were to register as aliens. Of course, we had a very big issue of alien, because when you are told that you are an alien, of course, alien is, you assume that you are coming from another, not just another country, but from another world, which is not good. And were it not for the intervention of that senior government official, would have registered as aliens. yet we are members of East Africa. Honorable Speaker, this is a serious issue, and if we set this precedence that member countries will have the discretion on when to do the domestication, then Honorable Speaker will be setting a very bad precedence whereby members will be joining, countries will be joining the community, and they will do it at their own pleasure. Because, Honorable Speaker, when the members of Republic of South Sudan visit the other countries, they are enjoying everything that is given under the protocols. But when the members of those different countries now visit the Republic of South Sudan, they are not enjoying that, which is not fair. Honorable Speaker, I think that one should
Information, Chair.
You take it. Formation is moving.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Please, just I need your protection that my information is to Honorable Kanini, not to another member who is not on the floor. So we need to respect the orders in the room. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to find out from Honorable Kanini whether what he has never enjoyed in Juba, so that I know exactly what he's meaning. So that is the information I wanted to ask Honorable Kanini, so that maybe we can rectify that one in future if you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, my chair. You know, the reality is.
Honorable, can you have only 3 minutes?
Thank you, Honorable. I'll be very brief. The truth is that whatever that we are enjoying is at the discretion of the government. It is not anchored anywhere in law, and that is what we are telling them, kindly fast track. Because if, for example, that senior officer was not there, would have registered, as aliens. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, registering as aliens within East Africa, of course, is not good. So we beseech the council to make sure that this kind of domestication is time-bound, and you can only be extended with a request. But now everything is in abeyance. We don't know when they will do the domestic. We understand some of maybe the transition, the period that they are going through, but it should also be time-bound. So with those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I support the report by the chair and the committee, and I'm happy that this is a report that will be acted upon. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The members who are not in the committee should be given priority to contribute. In case Honorable Rose, are you a member of the committee?
I'm not. Yes. I am not. Right, Honorable.
You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to make a contribution to this report. And I want to also join colleagues to thank the chair and his colleagues for this precise report. Right Honorable Speaker, domestication of the treaty and its provisions plus protocols vis-a-vis the pillars of integration, Right Honorable Speaker, I think is a big challenge, not only to South Sudan, but also quite a number of our member states, Right Honorable. It is the reason we have NTBs in most of our borders, because our member states have failed to domesticate and harmonize the legal frameworks because they have joined the East African community, Right Honorable Speaker. Just about a month ago, we visited a Lego, the one-stop border post between Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan, Right Honorable Speaker. And we were able to see the challenges the communities are facing at the border, and especially the businessmen doing business between Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan because of lack of harmonization and domestication of the treaty and the various legal frameworks that have arisen because of the protocols that we have passed, Right Honorable. For example,
Because the Republic of South Sudan has not domesticated most of these legal frameworks, there is a challenge, especially taxation, Right Honorable. The customs officers at the border are still using their laws as passed by their parliaments. And now here we are talking of free movement of goods and services. We are talking of one customs territory. It is not the case. Traders are still being taxed. They are being taxed when they cross to the Republic of South Sudan with their goods, because the customs, the laws have not yet been harmonized. They're still using the laws of their countries, Right Honorable. So this is one of the challenges. And you know, Right Honorable, when the Republic of South Sudan was admitted, a roadmap was given to fast track the Republic of South Sudan into the East African community. And I really want, Right Honorable Speaker, you see, when we interrogate these issues and request the Council of Ministers to provide an update, there is always that answer which is given that, you know, we have heard, we have listened to you, and we are going to consult with the colleagues, because you can see, we just have one honorable member of the council here. So he'll also have to go and consult his colleagues, then they meet and then come up with an answer with our questions, which never comes up, Right Honorable. That one I know. Now this is my second time here. We have always requested for answers from council, but the answer is we are going to consult, we shall give you answers. They don't come. So on this one, Right Honorable Speaker, we are facing a lot of NTBs on our borders because of lack of domestication and harmonization of laws at our member state level vis-a-vis the legal frameworks we pass at EAC. It is a big challenge to our traders. So no wonder our level of trade is still very low between member states. It's at about, is it 27 or 25? These are the NTBs. The traders cannot move. They cannot freely move. They cannot even freely. It's a lot of, so there's too much, Right Honorable. So I really want to request that as the member of council who is here comes up to answer these issues, he should give us a definite date. A date, maybe 2 months from now, because they have to consult, as to when they will brief the assembly and members on the state of domestication of the treaty and harmonization of laws, not just with the Republic of South Sudan, but with all the member states. Because I know we are all in it, because there is nobody to follow up, as colleagues have said. There is no follow up to see how far we have gone. So the traders are suffering, the business community, even just crossing borders, like even the people who want to move across borders, despite even abolition of visas, there are still challenges. So Right Honorable, this is a serious area that has to be interrogated further, and the Council of Ministers must commit themselves to give us answers on this matter.
I'll give you information.
Okay, there's information here.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members,
Namara.
I wanted to give information as one of the traders myself, how even as a member of parliament, I have failed to actually export some of my products. They tell you, even at our borders like Malaba, bringing anything to Kenya, like for example, maize. They gave me a list of 5 items: clearance certificate from Ministry of Agriculture, Uganda; clearance certificate from UNBS.
That is which border?
Malaba, all borders.
Ah,
Yes. Letter of preferential origin by URA, the tax body. You get clearance using an agent. And then you also get a letter of preferential origin, preferential from the other partner state. So virtually, I have given up on exporting myself. So if I can give up on exporting when I'm a member of parliament, because of the stringent NTBs they have put at the borders, how about the common man?
oh,
So that's the information I wanted to give to Honorable Rose to argument what she was putting forward.
thank you.
Thank you, Honorable, for that very important information. So, Right Honorable, I think it is a critical matter that has to be interrogated further. And the council here should give us answers for most of these questions. Because NTBs have become NTBs. Trade is now being, actually, there is no trade, I want to say so. We are not facilitated to trade because these NTBs, due to lack of harmonization and domestication of the treaty and the various protocols, is not being followed up by our organs, especially the Secretariat. Thank you, Right Honorables, for giving me this
Honorable
opportunity.
members,
I support the report.
If you allow me to give the floor to two members only from South Sudan and Honorable Matthias, because it's clear. Okay, we have Honorable Gabriel, Honorable Gideon, Dr. Oda, and Kim Guy, and Francine. But please do not go beyond 3 minutes. It's very easy. Let's start by Honorable Matthias, then Honorable Francine, who have been there before. But Matthias, are you a member of the committee?
I am a member, but
no,
I will be very short, Right Honorable.
So you leave, you will give the floor to, okay, you'll come later. So we go to Honorable Francine. But who the members will come later? You'll come later, we'll get the floor later. So Honorable Francine, you have the floor. You had been the first one to.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. First of all, I want to thank the Legal Committee for a good report, which unfortunately comes when the Minister in charge of EAC affairs in South Sudan is not present, because it should help us to understand, because he was also the chair council, which will give added value to our report for fast-tracking the implementation of those recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker, we are talking about domestication of the treaty, and the report is saying that without domestication, whatever program is done is illegal. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to hear from the CTC and the council member who is present in this house to tell us the effects, as already highlighted by Honorable Sankok, to see the Republic of South Sudan in an illegal situation for whatever activity which can be done in South Sudan. What are the effects and how are we going to correct it with a time frame which will be given for us, for the Republic of South Sudan to not suffer for the, let's say, the negligence of one or another organ, especially the council and the secretariat, for the domestication to be done. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Francine. Now we go to Honorable Gabriel.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm going to be very brief. I stand to support the report. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to speak to this subject, but first let me put it in historical context. The country called South Sudan, when South Sudanese started their liberation, that was in 1983, we had countries that stood with South Sudanese shoulder to shoulder to make sure we got the independence, the liberation. we have today. The countries that actually stood with us more strongly are, first, we get Ethiopia, the countries that gave us the best, which was actually launching pad for South Sudan liberation. Second is Kenya. And I would like all the Kenyans to understand this. And also, the third is Uganda. These three countries actually assisted South Sudanese during that time. It was a painful journey, but they were with us until we got our independence. Naivasha in Kenya was the place where the comprehensive peace agreement was signed, which actually gave birth to South Sudan independence. The reason I'm bringing this historical context up is for us to see where we come from as East Africans. East African community is where South Sudanese belong. In 2016, when our President Kiir actually signed for South Sudan to be part of East African, that was only formality that was done. But before that time, South Sudan was already part of East Africa community. There is also something important I wanted to bring to the attention of the members and all the Kenyans and all the East Africans that are here today. If there is a country in the East African community that has actually accepted all East Africans to work and to move freely, there's no country in South Sudan. I'm actually telling you this one without fear of contradictions. This is the reality. Nobody can debate about it. You go to South Sudan today, you will find all Kenyans doing all sorts of things. You go, you will find Ugandans doing all sorts of things. There's no discrimination where they come from, because there's one thing for South Sudanese, given the historical context I just gave you. They know that Kenyans, Ugandans, Ethiopians, and all the other citizens from East African countries assisted them when they were actually fighting. So that information is in their brain. They clearly understand, and whoever goes to South Sudan is welcome with open arms. This is the reality. So to my brother, Honorable KK, whatever happened to you, that was isolated incident. But the reality, we all know, including Kenyans and Ugandans who are there, South Sudan is more welcoming, less restrictive, and is actually more accommodating than any of East African countries. I thought I should raise it that, or Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Gabriel. Now, Honorable Gideon.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to add my voice to my honorable colleagues who have already submitted on this report. I would like to indicate that this report is a well-articulated report. Thank you, Honorable Chair, and your committee. Very informative. Thank you very much for that report. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on 3 issues. One, I agree with my honorable colleague here, Honorable Makame, that though this report was generated through an activity conducted from the Republic of South Sudan, it is equally reminding us of how important it is to fast-track the overall implementation of the treaty in the East African community. That is something that I really think that honorable members of the council can be able to take up so that we are able to move as a community. Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, I have noted these 3 things that I wanted to debate about. One is actually that question of an alien registration in the Republic of South Sudan. At one time, I happened to be in South Sudan together with some colleagues from the United Republic of Tanzania, and they were asked that question to be registered. So I had to intervene. And that is something that we, the members of the South Sudan chapter, are having conversation about it. What should we do with our government to ensure that this kind of activity of registration can be looked at, and perhaps address it for the East African citizens to be able to do their business in South Sudan without hindrance. Second, Right Honorable Speaker, not only South Sudan that have got some challenges with the implementation of certain key important areas of our integration, especially on investment. Let me give an
information,
example.
Chair.
Information?
I mean, information, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Yes. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you. And thank you, Honorable Gideon, for allowing me to take this information. The report of the Committee on Legal Rules and Privileges is clear. Had it been that South Sudan domesticated the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community, the issue of the alien registration would not have arisen. That was actually the problem, because now South Sudan has not domesticated the treaty, and therefore any other East African law does not apply at the territory of South Sudan. So with that, the best to do is for us to make sure that the treaty is domesticated by having it passed by the council as well as the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, for us to have the legal basis under which we can say don't register. I thank you so much.
Further information.
Thank you, Honorable Kane.
Further information.
Okay,
Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Mary.
Thank you, Honorable Gideon. Mr. Speaker, I raised talk about East Africans in East African partner states living as aliens. And I realize what Honorable Kennedy has just elaborated on. That's correct. That's the focus of the report. However, even partner states where the treaty has been domesticated into national laws, you still have East Africans, for example, living in East African countries as aliens and holding alien cards. I am surprised. Holding alien cards. You are a Ugandan or a Tanzanian or a Kenyan, whatever. You are living in the neighboring country, part of EAC, and you are requested to hold an alien card. And I don't want to quote, but I believe even here where we are standing, that's the case. Yes. And the law was domesticated. So we sing the EAC, we quote the treaty, we dance it, we leave it, but when it comes to implementing it, it's not happening. I submit.
Thank you, my two colleagues, for those very good information. The one from Honorable Mary and then the one from Honorable Kennedy. Right, Honorable Speaker, I was about to mention something that even though the countries that have ratified and also domesticated the instruments of the treaty have the bigger, let's say, exposure in terms of implementation of the treaty, and perhaps like mentioned by Honorable Kanini, that we may be enjoying much more of these privileges as a result of this integration. I want to tell you, Right Honorable Speaker, that it may not be the case. Because, for example, in Kenya here, where we are, a very good country with very good people, with a high level of hospitality, one thing is a challenge, and I think this needs to be addressed by East African community as a whole. It's about investment. Right Honorable Speaker, in Kenya now, if you go and register today to invest as an East African, you will be asked, you will register very easily. And then when it comes for you now to get the license or the business permit to operate, you are required in your account to have $100,000 US as minimum for you to be given a work permit to or a business permit to do business in Kenya. If you go, you look all over Kenya, so Sudanese are not doing business. Actually, maybe except with the millionaires who can be able to afford that. But the common people that we are targeting to do business in East Africa are not able to do it. You can only come and spend, but you don't do business, because if you have in account less than 100,000, your business will not proceed. So I think all over, it need to be addressed by the council, that they need to be assessing, for the council to assess the standard minimum of people to start to do business in East African community. If it is 2,000, like in South Sudan, it is $2,000 for you to be registered and you get your thing and go for business. So why don't we set a standard? Thank you, Right Honorable, I submit.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we give the floor to Dr. Oda. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to add my voice to the report of the assessment on the implementation of the treaty by the Republic of South Sudan. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to just bring the importance of the domestication of the treaty, because it is really very important so that everyone and the Republic of South Sudan also enjoy the benefits of the integration. It is quoted in the report that the custom union in the Republic of South Sudan is still implementing the Customs Service Act of 2013. Right Honorable Speaker, as a former member of the CTI, we went for oversight activities, and by then we have recommended to the council and also work as members from the assembly from South Sudan very hard with our country to really try to domesticate the Act of 2024. But it's the reason because the treaty is not domesticated. And I'm hereby really appealing to the Council of Ministers to put more, to allocate more budget towards the integration of South Sudan. Because as far as I remember that, South Sudan was allocated a budget for integration, and I'm stand to be corrected in 2018 and 2019, Right Honorable Speaker. And here also in page 6, South Sudan went a little bit further, some steps towards this integration, because also they have the officers were deployed to the port of Mombasa, Dar es Salaam. We have seen them also during the oversight of the CTI in Eala 4. And also they have implemented the EAC single custom territory. And they are establishing to harmonize the system and rules of origin for the South Sudan revenue. But Right Honorable Speaker, as I said, the trainings offered by the Council of Ministers through the Secretariat to the Republic of South Sudan were really very minimum. We have, I think we have debated a report for the South Sudan integration, Republic of South Sudan integration. We found that, as I said, I repeatedly say, that the budget was only allocated in the year 2018, 2019, Right Honorable Speaker. The trainings were very short, less than 1 to 2 days. So this will not benefit South Sudan. And on the contrary of the experience of my brother, Honorable Keneni, and I found him at the airport that time, not really very happy. I wish that he stayed longer in South Sudan. I take him to one of the local market like Konya, and he find the real integration, because the people of East Africa, most of them are being integrated. There is no country, as said by Honorable Dr. Aher, where integration is really taking place on ground, and people from the East African countries are owning businesses, and they have businesses, real businesses. You can see them, and I think can be testified by some of the members who went around in South Sudan and has seen other members from the partner state. Otherwise, I add my voice to the report to really to call upon the Republic of South Sudan to fast track the waiving of the visa for the citizens from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Right, Honorable Speaker, when we started Eala 4, there was no waiver of visa for all the partner states, but we have made it as members from the chapter of Republic of South Sudan, and we are ready also to make this one to happen for our colleagues and also citizens of the Republic of Democratic Republic of Congo. And also I want to add my voice also to urge the Republic of South Sudan to fast track the domestication of the treaty because it will be a benefit to us and benefit to all the East African. I beg to support the report, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Maina. Honorable Kim Guy, sorry, Honorable Kim. But please, we have another item. You can be brief.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I will be very brief and a member of the committee of the legal also.
Ah.
Yeah, Madam Speaker.
No, so you'll come later.
So,
Honorable Maina.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have to say that I'm not a member of that committee, and I want to appreciate Right Honorable Speaker for this opportunity. But Right Honorable Speaker, even as much as I'm not a member of that committee, I benefited with the gracious opportunity of attending one of the sessions invited by the chair. And I want to congratulate the Republic of South Sudan for the good work they are doing. I happen to have been in that area as they were conducting their meeting, having been the Committee of Agriculture. So we were there together as committees, so I just stepped in. Honorable Speaker, the issue of domestication of our laws and protocols can never be said enough, Honorable Speaker, because the reason as to why we call for this domestication, the reason as to why we call for the implementation of the various laws that we pass as an assembly and the protocols that have been set in place, so that we can be able to achieve the 4 pillars that have been set out in our treaty of establishment, and also to ensure that there is the free flow of goods, people, services, and also flow of capital. Honorable Speaker, this House, we have been debating for these 2 weeks over the volume of trade, the intra-East African trade, and it was ranging between 15 and 25%. Honorable Speaker, the reason as to why this volume of trade has not been increasing to the levels of 69%, as you said, Honorable Speaker, is because of some of the bureaucratic requirements that traders must reach or must comply with. You know, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Namara, what he didn't tell you is that I was supposed to facilitate his trading activity. But along the way, I had to do a lot of calls. I had to do a lot of connection. In fact, I even had to send those numbers to the Honorable Namara so that he can explain himself. Honorable Speaker, I think, and I know you are also a good businessman, Honorable Speaker.
I'm not.
This assembly needs to lead the call for removal of some of these bureaucratic requirements. In fact, because Sankok is asking whether I was paid the facilitation charge, I didn't ask because it is the right of NTBs, it is the right of Namara to trade within East Africa. Right, Honorable Speaker, we need to remove this, as an assembly, we need to make the case of the ordinary citizens, the ordinary traders, because if we as members of parliament and political and business elite can be facing challenges, what is going on for the ordinary citizens? So, Right Honorable Speaker, I think we need to lead the charge of ensuring that there is compliance. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to challenge the Council of Ministers that they need to have a metrics or even a scale where they can be looking at each other in the eye as ministers, asking themselves, like the way Honorable Gideon has suggested here. They can be asking among themselves, in your country or in your state, are you complying with these metrics? Are you complying with these requirements as they have been stipulated by the treaty and the laws that have been passed by the assembly? So that as we carry out even our own assessment as respective committees, when we are facing these officials, Right Honorable Speaker, we can be facing these officials with the metrics, so that when the chair of the legal, Mheshimiwa Ngole, when he is facing the officials, he can be asking them, are you complying with these metrics as stipulated by the community? So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to challenge the Council of Ministers that they need to come up with a metrics upon which, when we are assessing and when we are engaging each other as partner states can be measured against the metrics that we will have set as an assembly and also as the Council of Ministers. Right Honorable Speaker, the other thing I noted, I told you, I said that I benefited with having attended the committee meeting of legal. I noted that some senior officials of government are not attending these meetings. For instance, the officials from the Ministry of Trade and officials from the Ministry of Labor didn't attend this particular assessment meeting, Right Honorable Speaker. I think it is upon this assembly to emphasize and stipulate in clear terms that senior ministry officials should be attending the committee meetings. We don't want to be attending meetings, and the kind of officials that are attending in our meetings are not policymakers. And as such, we cannot even hold them accountable. Even the level of conversation is not equal to the task. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we need to have senior ministry officials attending these meetings so that we can hold them accountable. We don't want to be dealing with the junior officials in our meetings. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to congratulate the Republic of South Sudan also. I noted when I visited there, the person who was taking care of my head in terms of Baba was somebody from Kenya, and she's living in South Sudan. So in that extent, and even that person who sold me the suit that very day was an East African from another country living in South Sudan. So I want to congratulate the Republic of South Sudan for this welcoming nature. And I want to urge other partner states, let us learn from South Sudan in regards to how we welcome business people and investors from East Africa. Thank you.
Now 3 minutes for the member of the committee. We'll give the floor to Honorable Matthias and Honorable Kimigai. And they'll be the last ones.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, to give me this opportunity to add my voice to that of my honorable colleagues. Right, Honorable Speaker, as a member of this committee, listening to different various stakeholders we met in the Republic of South Sudan, many of them were surprised by the work ahead in terms of domestication of the treaty. But there is a point that really I have appreciated personally, is that they have confessed that they were not aware of this tough exercise, I mean of domestication. And they have committed to fast track this job. That is a point of really encouragement. Secondly, something that we have to see, and this comes to the East African EAC Secretariat, is a question I have to interrogate them. After the ratification of the treaty by any partner state, what should the EAC Secretariat do? What strategies they do have? I was informed that sometimes a certain amount of money was allocated, earmarked for this exercise. But if we go back to the accounts, can we really trace it and have a positive result in terms of accompanying the Republic of South Sudan? There is an element which was indeed very surprising, and that which could have been, let's say, streamlined. We were informed that the bill itself was adopted by the Council of Ministers, the cabinet of the Republic of South Sudan. However, in the long way, in the long journey to the parliament, the bill has disappeared. So that is a big question. The EAC Secretariat, where are we? Where are you? What are you doing? How are you accompanying the different partner states in the terms of domestication? Right, Honorable Speaker, I approve and I really support the report and I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And also let me thank my Honorable Chair, Honorable Wakil, for the good job well done. Honorable Speaker, I am supporting the report 100%. And also I want to make clear what had been said by Honorable Gabriel Aher, a record of this House, that the liberation of the Republic of South Sudan are not starting in 1983. It is starting in 1955. So the East African community should know that information. Right now, Speaker, in regard what I've been, I'm just going to answer only concern that have been raised by my colleague, Honorable Sankok, in the issue of the provisional order of the President of the Republic of South Sudan. As you are aware, we have a provisional order that the President can issue any provisional order, but you remember this one is a bill, and bill you have to go through process, which have to go through the cabinet, and cabinet approve it, and then again go to the parliament for the final approval. But right now, the Speaker, we are in the peace agreement that the parliament that have been understood that are stop all the bills that are not related to the peace agreement. But when we have been in the Juba last February, we are being tasked that I have to go and meet the Minister of Justice, which is the Attorney General of the Republic of South Sudan.
Information, Honorable Speaker.
Sankok?
Yes, I just want to give information to Honorable Kim Guy that what I talked about presidential directives is not that a presidential directive to implement the treaty. It is a presidential directive like the one issued by our president of waiving the need of visa for visitors who are visiting Kenya from any state in the whole of Africa. So he can easily give just a presidential directive of waiving any visa requirement for all East African community
information
members.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
And then it will, you cannot give an information on top of another information.
To you, yes, but there is a wrong records which you're saying.
So, Honorable Speaker, that is what I just wanted to give
Honorable members, it's Honorable Kim Guy who has to take it. But when he's still on the floor, let him finish. And I think he's finishing. Very good. Do you take the other information, Honorable?
I know what Honorable Order wants to say, so I will correct it. My brother Honorable, that the Republic of South Sudan are waived all visas for the partner state. For your information, our brother from the Republic of the Democratic Republic of the DRC, it is going to be bilateral agreement with, because there is some process to be started first between the partner state. So our brother from DRC, even Somalia, now they come in. I think that the process are going to be done by the partner state. Right now, Speaker, in the response to Honorable KK, the issue of alliance, that I think, and you have been there in the meetings, and we have been there in South Sudan for the last 7 years, Eala. There are no any such accident happened apart what happened last time in Juba. We have to put it clear in this record in the House. But the minister himself, I think he responded to all those things when we are there. But when we investigate it, the Minister of Interior say it, even but this alien is not only on South Sudan, even other partner state is still there. So we need to harmonize all those things together. Even the point they put, for example, in Uganda, they said even now our citizens in Uganda, they have a SIM card every 3 months. They have to tell them that they cut the SIM card, and then again they say you cross the border and come again. And they are citizens, they are there for education for 20 years, 30 years. So every 3 months they have to cross border. So even some of them, they registered the SIM card with Ugandan name. So
and information also, further information. Right, Honorable Speaker, further information maybe which I missed in my debate is that also the Republic of South Sudan students are still paying $100 for a visa, which is not legitimate because as the treaty said that there is free movement of people, free movement of goods and all these things. So, but they are still paying the 100 student visa, which is not by law. And I've raised several times this in this house, this matter in this house. And also we have communicated it to these partner states, which are still making the student of South Sudan paying the 100 USD. So there are many things which are really hindering the integration. So
thank you. So, Honorable Kim.
Right on the speaker, my time is it's my, but let me very brief too, because I'm the last person. Right on the speaker.
You still have 55 seconds.
Since the council are going to retreat in 27 to 29 to 20 to first in Zanzibar together with the ministers of foreign affairs of our partner state, I think the council should take this one matter to that meetings and will be a very good retreat for them to solve all those issues. And finally, one with the speaker, like what I've been said by my colleague Ambassador Matthias here, that those all process should be followed by Secretariat. Even now, one with the speaker, we are putting all our energy, issue of the budgeting, partners said are not paid. It is that we are doing the work on behalf of the Secretariat, instead of the Secretariat to do that work. And I think one with the speaker now we are talking about South Sudan, who are more than 7 years. Our brother from DRC are there, and Somalia are there. It is us again, we are going to bring those things again to the house on behalf of the Secretariat. I think the CTC, we are locating CTC a lot of fun, and I think his own job to follow all those legal framework with the partner state. I submit right now, Speaker, and support it.
Thank you, Honorable Kim Guy. Now we give the floor to Honorable Ministers, if any. Honorable Bahati, we had, but you can have 3 minutes. But you had closed. Honorable Minister, sorry for this. Let's give the floor to Honorable Bahati.
Thank you, Chair. From the onset, I want to declare that I'm a member of the committee. And what I want to say, let's not forget that the Republic of South Sudan is a very young country, both from the liberation and joining the community.
Thank you.
To some extent, we have to understand them. It comes to the extent that we found that even these instruments of the community, which is a treaty, some of them doesn't have them, and they are relative from the relevant ministries. So there is a lot still to be done, and they need more support. Maybe through the chair. The chair council will put his more effort to make sure that the integration is on the track. Second, Mr. Speaker, I was trying to say that I had Honorable Maina talking about the matrix. Maybe the same as I want to talk, I'm talking about the scorecard. I think you had one, which indicates that a certain protocol, this and that, has been achieved, and they're different from different countries. And the council has to explain, maybe at the end of every financial year, explain why each country has not performed this particular protocol. And this should be, maybe it would be very much easier instead of going to each and every country assessing, oversighting to see how far have they gone in implementing the treaty. So it ought to be easy to move around the entire community, but we can do it as an oversighting organ, such that when we meet the council at the end of the year, we are just comparing notes, and we just know we put our ESC on track. I beg, submit, Mr.
Thank you, Honorable Bahati. Now I give the floor to Honorable Ministers, if any. You have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The Council is grateful to the Committee on Legal Rules and Privileges for this on-spot activity. The Council welcomes the debates and all recommendations in this regard. Further on, the Council is going to follow up on the implementation of the roadmap for the integration of the Republic of South Sudan into the community. The Council appreciates the need to provide annual reports to this Assembly and will do so in a timely manner. The Council will encourage the Republic of South Sudan to abide with within its treaty obligations and enact the East African Community Treaty Bill into law at the earliest point. And finally, the Council will provide a detailed feedback on the 3 matters in 6 months period. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you for your contribution and your response. We give the floor to the mover.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank my fellow members of the committee and the other members of this assembly, including Honorable Ole Sankok, Honorable Kanini Kega, Honorable Rose Ako, Honorable Francine, Honorable Gabriel, Honorable Gideon, Honorable Dr. Walder, Honorable Mukuria Ayason, Honorable Maina, Honorable Ambassador Matthias, Honorable Kim Guy, and lastly, and Honorable Baat Alex, and lastly, Honorable Minister Rebecca for their contribution, and others who are and Honorable Namara.
And correction, Mr. Speaker. The minister is Honorable Penina.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, for their contribution on the matters discussed by the Assembly. Honorable Mr. Speaker, before I wind up, I've seen in our discussion the issue of the effect. Actually, there was the issue of the effect of non-domesticating of the treaty. And also there is some of the members are mixing between the issue of domesticating and harmonization of our laws. Mr. Speaker, in our oversight, we were doing our activity on the issue of domestication of the treaty. In fact, when you talk of domestication of the treaty is different from the issue of harmonization of our laws as a community. These are two different things. When you talk of domestication...
Information.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Chair, for giving way. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know what the chair is trying to push, but as far as I know, once you domesticate the treaty, the immediate next step is you have to harmonize your laws, because the treaty definitely implies that there are certain aspects, you know, when you domesticate it, certain aspects in your laws will not be in compliance with the provisions of the treaty.
Thank you.
So definitely you have to harmonize. So that's where the legal frameworks have to be harmonized, unless I'm mistaken, but that's what I understand. The moment you domesticate, the next step is harmonization. Thank you, Right.
Thank you, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying, when you talk of domesticating the treaty, is for the member state to enact the laws within the national parliament, so that to make the treaty executable, and the treaty can be implemented in your national laws. And we have very clearly stated that this is a requirement of Article 8, sub-Article 2. Once you ratify the treaty, member state ratify the treaty, then it has to enact the laws within their national. Some of the countries have different laws, I admit, and we have well stated that some of the members, once they have ratified the treaty, the treaty becomes domesticated. But in the case of South Sudan, it's different. And in fact, we have, until now, we have 3 countries which have not domesticated this treaty.
Coming back on your report, or?
I'm summarizing, Honorable Speaker.
Please.
What I'm saying is, it is the Republic of South Sudan, and I think the Democratic Republic of Congo and Somalia, which have not domesticated the treaty. The rest is about harmonization of the laws of the EAC to make our national laws, the laws which are enacted by the EAC, have taken precedence over the laws of the of the countries. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This report has interested everyone. So, honorable members, we have taken more than 1 hour, 1 hour 40, almost 2 hours. Honorable members, I now put the question that the report of the Committee on Legal, Rules and Privileges on domestication of EAC Treaty and the laws by the Republic of South Sudan be adopted. Those in favor say aye. Those in against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I have been informed that our minister who is with us is traveling today. She has been here just to respond to the questions and then to quickly to go to the airport. So that's why I have decided to change these orders of the day and bring item number 8 to be item number 5. Then after these questions, these answers, will proceed with Kamkunji. So, Honorable Makame.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, I'm standing to ask a question to the Council Ministers. The question is on the comprehensive reports on the status of implementation of the treaty and protocols relating to the pillars of integration. Question Eala stroke PQ stroke QA stroke 5 stroke 02 stroke 2023. The question reads, one of the functions of the Assembly under Article 49(2)(c) of the treaty is to consider annual reports on the activities of the community. On 5th December 2019, during consideration of the annual report, the House resolved that the Council should regularly furnish the Assembly with comprehensive reports from each partner state on the status of integration and implementation of the Customs Union Protocol and the Common Market Protocol. The Assembly has been concerned that the Council of Ministers is quick to adopt protocols and policies, but does not effectively evaluate and monitor implementation and valuable information on the implementation of the treaty protocols, projects, and program is not included in the annual reports submitted to the Assembly. Would the chairperson, the Council, inform this House when the Council is intending to provide the Assembly with comprehensive information on the status of integration and implementation of the treaty, protocols, projects, and programs of the community? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you and the honorable members for this and other questions. The Council would like to inform you that it will ensure timely submission of annual reports which contain the status of East Africa community integration. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to inform as follows in respect to monitoring and evaluation implementation of the protocol on the common market. Under Article 50 of the Protocols of the Establishment of East Africa Community Common Market, the Council adopted a framework for monitoring and evaluation the implementation of the protocol. The framework includes a review of specific commitments in the respect to freedoms and rights against implementation milestones and the extent to which the commitments have been adhered to. This review is undertaken through the East Africa Community Common Market Scorecards. Since the adoption of the scorecard as an implementation tool in 2014, 3 successive publications have been made in 2016 and 2020, tracking the implementation of the free movement of goods, services, and capital, and an inaugural scorecard in 2018, tracking the implementation status in the free movement of people, workers, and the rights of establishment and residents. A monitoring tool that tracks a biannual basis the status of implementation across a number of indicators covering the freedoms, rights, and other areas of cooperation under the EAC Common Market Protocol and other protocols, including the EAC Customs Union and the EAC Protocol on Standardization, Quality Assurance, Metrology, and Testing. The following the recommendations of the Eala Committee on General Purpose on the EAC Annual Report of 2019/2020, the Secretariat has introduced a session in the EAC Annual Reports of 2021/2022 and that of 2022/2023 that covers the current status of the pillars of EAC integration. That includes the Customs Union, Common Market, Monetary Union, and Political Federation. Information on other protocols is reported under the respective sectors responsible for the implementation in the annual reports. In regard to information on the implementation of projects and programs of the community, the EAC Secretariat has developed a projects and programs module in the online East Africa Community Monitoring System, IMS, to track the implementation of projects and programs of the community. The module is on an online platform that will facilitate regular reporting on the status of the projects and programs and is currently being rolled out in the respective organs and institutions. Once all the project and program information is entered into the module, comprehensive and regular reports on the status of implementation of projects and programs will be produced and incorporated in the annual reports, which are submitted to this assembly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Do you have additional question?
Yes, I do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the Honorable Minister for the response, which endeavors to respond to the question. I, however, feel obliged to ask a few additional questions. Mr. Speaker. And that will be just an additional question, one, but it will be having, it's a little small babies. Number one, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister told us about the Common Market Scorecard. And indeed, the Common Market Scorecard endeavors to track how we are going to implement the common market, but it does not track the implementation. Why am I saying so, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the Common Market Scorecard identified a number of laws and policies and rules that need to be harmonized and needs to be approximated. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm just trying to find some words which are very diplomatic. And I would say that the partner states appear to be rather shy in the process of harmonization and approximation. And with this, Mr. Speaker, I would specifically refer to Article 132 of the Common Market Protocol that speaks about approximation and harmonization of tax policies and laws, which my brother, Honorable Odongo, brought a motion last week. Also, Mr. Speaker, issues of trade relations and cooperation in statistics are also paramount, and the harmonization of social policies in the common market. And Mr. Speaker, what we are seeing is that barely the common market is just being, we are saying we are implementing it, but it hasn't been implemented. And in the area of statistics, Mr. Speaker, we even mentioned this when we were coming to, we passed the bill on having statistical bureau, because it was seen that the area of statistics was not working. So now, Mr. Speaker, in area of statistics, we are still lacking, and that is where we do comparison. You have to have harmonized statistics. And Mr. Speaker, so I would like the Honorable Minister to pronounce in those areas if there is information, and if there is no information, they can bring it at a later date, and also to make also pronouncement on why we are not implementing the customs union, especially the committee on trade and remedies that would ensure elimination of NTBs in this community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Makame. Let's take this question and then go to the. Yes, Honorable Ndangiza. Let's take 2 questions only, and we go to the next question because we need time for Kamkunji.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. At the outset, I would like to thank the Minister for eloquently responding to the questions raised. However, I have an additional question, in particular on the implementation of the monetary union. Right Honorable Speaker, as you all know that there has been an extension in terms of the time frame of the implementation of the realization of monetary union from 2023 to now 2031. Despite the fact that the Assembly has passed all the key bills related to monetary union, there is this delay. So can the Minister assure us that now the new deadline will be respected by the Council, since East Africans are really losing a lot in the change of currencies from country to country? Yes. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. And I will give the floor to the Minister. And then we go to the second question.
Right Honorable Speaker, taking hand of my sister here, we thank Honorable Makame for the question. And if you visit at page 8 of the answers we have, it's like we have foreseen the question by Honorable Makame, and the Council convened a high-level retreat on EAC market protocol in July 2022 and he took stock of the progress of challenges implementing protocol and proposed the intervention to unlock bottlenecks of the respective freedom and rights to facilitate full realization of the benefits of the common market. And the retreat observed a major two things: that there is a need to reinvigorate standalone ministries of EAC affairs for better coordination and to enhance awareness of the EAC integration agenda. But also, the EAC partner states should develop regional roles to strengthen implementation of the common market. Now, altogether with what was agreed upon, at the summit of EAC, heads of state directed the council to re-examine further the resolution, and the council has redirected the secretariat to convene a retreat of the permanent principal undersecretaries accompanied by technical experts to re-examine the resolution of the high-level retreat on EAC common market. And we are looking forward to make sure that that retreat is held in time.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Let's go to the second question. Honorable, do you have, yes, you have the, yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My colleague will be taking up the next batch of questions.
Thank you.
I beg to leave.
Thank you. We go to the second question that had been raised by Honorable Francine.
Still on the same item.
Procedure, Mr. Speaker.
Item 2.
Yes, procedure.
Mr. Speaker, the question, we are glad to have received the responses from the questions and on my part, but there was a question asked by Honorable Her Excellency Ambassador Ndagiza on monetary union, and that was not responded to.
Sorry,
so before we
that's
proceed
true.
with the other one. Yeah,
that's true.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister, there was a question that has not been responded to.
Right, Honorable Speaker, on the matter of the monetary union, the Council of Ministers has returned the bill, and we'll be making follow-ups to make sure that it comes to an end in a short time to come.
The bill has been returned.
Procedure. Procedure.
Yes, Honorable Sankok.
My friend, Minister from the United Republic of Tanzania, with due respect, I don't want to differ with you. You are a young man, but I want to surely say that that answer does not answer the question from Honorable Ambassador Her Excellency Ndagiza. The question was very simple. We have not respected the 2023 deadline of having a single currency. How are we sure that we'll respect the 2031 deadline of having a single currency? I think that is the question.
Yeah, that's
we just
the
want
question.
to know whether we will respect from your side.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm so sorry, maybe I did not hear and catch up the question well, but to give comfort to Honorable Ndagiza, we are sure that we will meet the deadline because we have given ourselves enough time to make sure that we do the follow-ups, and we hope in that long time we'll have done all the necessary steps to make sure that we come to that point.
Thank you.
Still on item number 8, Roman 2.
Honorable Francine.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me to ask to the chairperson of the Council of Ministers a question regarding the status of implementation of the EAC Common Market Protocol. The question reads, Eala /PQ /OA /5 /07 /2024. Right Honorable Speaker, The EAC Treaty provides for the establishment of a common market protocol, monetary union, and ultimately the political federation under provision 5, sub-provision 2 of the treaty. Among prerequisites for the third and the fourth pillars to be implemented is a fully implementation of the protocol establishing the East African Community Customs Union and the protocol establishing the East African Community Common Market. The common market calls for liberalization of the labor market, capital market, and the service market. As the good market has already been liberalized by the Customs Union Protocol. The protocol on the establishment of the East African Community Common Market was signed and entered into force in 2010. Although the time frame for the Common Market Protocol to be fully implemented was December 2015, the deadline was not met, but there have been progressive steps toward the implementation of the single market. By way of a reminder, the EAC Common Market is meant to open up a liberal stance toward the 4 freedoms of movement and the 2 rights, namely the free movement of goods, the free movement of persons, and the free movement of workers, free movement of services, free movement of capital, and the right of establishment and right of residence. Can the chairperson of the Council of Ministers inform this August House on the new time frame for the implementation of the Common Market Protocol? B, on the status of the implementation of the Common Market Protocol by each of the 4 freedoms of movement and 2 rights. And C, on challenges that hinder the full implementation of the Common Market Protocol and way forward. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Francine. We give the floor to Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you for the opportunity again to answer the question. And on the new time frame for the implementation of the EAC Common Market Protocol, the implementation of the Common Market Protocol is progressive, as she said. The Secretariat has proposed a comprehensive paper or new timeline that will be presented to the Secretariat Council of Ministers responsible for EAC affairs, planning that considers report on the Common Market implementation schedule for June 2024. The Common Market Protocol in some freedoms provides for a progressive liberalization. Example, in service in accordance with schedules Annex 5 that presents legally binding offers of sectors and subsectors that partner states agreed to liberalize. And in the case of capital schedule on the removal of restrictions, the free movement of capital Annex 6 covering the 20 capital markets operations. The rest of the commitments are to be continuously implemented to realize a fully functional common market. As envisaged under Article 50 of the protocol, the implementation of the protocol is therefore a continuous undertaking, and the Council adopted a framework for the monitoring and evaluating the implementation of the protocol. The framework includes 1, a review of a specific commitment in respective freedoms, that is free movement of goods, service, persons, labor, and capital, and the rights, which is right of establishment and right of residence, against implementation milestone and the extent to which the commitment have been adhered to. This review is undertaken through EAC Common Market scorecards. 2, a monitoring tool that tracks on a biannual basis of status of implementation across a number of indicators covering the freedom, rights, and other areas of cooperation under the protocol. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the second question, the status of implementing the Common Market Protocol by each of the 4 freedom of movement and the 2 rights. In 2014, sorry, the Council adopted the first East Africa Community Common Market Scorecard. The scorecard contributes to the implementation of the Common Market by allowing partner states to track their progress in fulfilling their commitment to liberalization in the 4 freedoms. Since 2014, there have been successive publication of the scorecard tracking progress in implementation of the Common Market Protocol commitments 2016, 2018, and 2020. Based on the overall findings of the scorecard 2020, with regard to free movement of goods, although all partner states eliminated tariff on goods originating from other partner states, some partner states still deviated from their commitment by introducing charges with equivalent effect to tariffs, subjecting intra-regional trade and non-tariff barrier, and using sanitary and phytosanitary standard to restrict trade and as well as a technical barrier to trade. In case of services, partner states have undertaken several reforms in service sector as well as in cross-cutting areas affecting services. Substantial progress was made by the partner state in implementing a number of recommendations made in the previous scorecard assessment. This includes an intended further liberalization of services commitment to attain a minimum of 78 subsectors by all partner states, as well as the correction of errors and inconsistencies that impeded implementation of free movement of services commitment. In spite of this achievement, the total number of non-conflicting measures relating to the free movement of service rose from 57 in 2016 to 60 in 2020. Partner states have also registered several reforms in the relation to the free movement of capital, which made it easier to move capital in the region. This reform relates to the reform of law on inwards direct investment to grant national treatment, removal of restriction on investors, and enactment of law in areas previously unregulated. Out of the 20 capital operations, 8 remained unrestricted in all partner states. However, capital control were the most severe restriction on the movement of capital, affecting most transactions covered under the Common Market Protocol. Details are as contained in the EAC Common Market Standard 2020, but note that the scorecard makes a key recommendation to facilitate partner compliance with the obligation in the free movement of goods, free movement of service, and free movement of capital, which Council adopted and they are under implementation by the respective partner state. The EAC Common Market Scorecard 2018, the first edition, tracking the status of implementation of commitment in the free movement of persons, workers, and the rights of residents and establishment, provides an elaborate assessment on the level of implementation in regard to the various commitment in this freedom and rights. Overall, in the free movement in person, the following key achievements have been registered. 1, removal of the requirement for visa for entry of citizens of EAC partner state. 2, partner states have continued to guarantee free movement of persons in their territories. 3, partner states have facilitated the students that have moved on the basis of admission into training establishments in the other host partner states without payment of any fee. And 4, partner states adopted the ICAO compliant electronic passport, replaced the national machine readable passport. Right, Honorable Speaker, regarding the right of establishment, the value of cross-border investment in the community has gradually increased. An assessment undertaken in 2021 revealed an increase from US 190 million in 2010 to US 583 million in 2021, and the annual number of projects registered under the investment promotion agencies has ranged between 54 and 91 over the 11 years Common Market Protocol implementation. Under the right of residence, all partner states issues resident permit to workers and self-employed persons who qualify in accordance with Article 14 of the EAC Common Market Protocol. This right is also accorded to the spouse, children, child, and dependent of the worker on all self-employed persons. Mr. Speaker, sir, the relevant sector council will in June 2024 consider a presentation of the new timeframe and the protocol and proposal on the way forward. Mr. Speaker, on the last question, challenges that hinder the full implementation of the Common Market Protocol and the way forward. Generally, the scorecard revealed that legal and regulatory measures inconsistent with the regional commitments continue to hamper progress establishing a common market. Progress to eliminate restrictions have been slow. In some cases, new measures have been introduced by the partner states, contrary to the commitments undertaken in the protocol. In addition, a lenient attitude towards the exemption is slowing the development of common market. Exemptions are legal mechanism among partner states to exclude individual partner states from specific obligation to the common market. Such exemption through legal impede the full realization of the key objective of the common market. Examples of such exemption includes: one, apart from their membership in the EAC, all partner states are also members of the other regional integration schemes, making it very difficult to construct a common market enabling a free circulation of goods within the region. Two, relatedly, stay of applications of the common market or the common external tariff on certain products that undermine trade instrument adopted by the community. Three, adoption of restriction on the free movement of capital for prudential anti-money laundering and the other public policy consideration upon notification of the other partner states. And four, inbuilt flexibility that allows partner states choice of services sector to liberalize and the extent of liberalization. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Council convened a high-level retreat on EAC Common Market Protocol in July 2022, which took stock of the progress and challenges in implementing the protocol and proposed intervention to unlock bottlenecks in the respective freedom and rights of facilitate full realization of the benefits of the common market. The retreat observed that, one, there is a need to reinvigorate standalone ministries of EAC affairs for better coordination, and two, enhance awareness of the EAC integration agenda. But B, the EAC partner states should develop regional laws to strengthen the implementation of the Common Market Protocol. The Council presented the following resolution to the 22nd Summit of EAC Heads of State on 22nd July 2022, strategic direction and impetus to accelerate the implementation of the EAC Common Market Protocol. One, put measures in place to increase intra-EAC trade from the current 15 to 50% in the next 5 years, and the direct partner states to A, finalize the regional local content policy and prioritize allocation of resources in agriculture and industrialization to boost production. B, ratify Article 24.2 of the Protocol on the establishment of the Custom Union to operationalize the Trade Remedies Committee to handle disputes on trade-related matters. C, fully implement the commitment made in Annex 5 of the schedule of the commitment on the progressive realization of the service. D, prioritize the harmonization of domestic taxes by July 2024. E, develop regional laws to enhance the implementation of the Common Market Protocol. And F, expedite the implementation of the One Area Network on voice and data. Two, direct partner states to fast-track establishment of a single EAC air transport market and harmonize fees, levies, and taxes on aviation, support cargo services, and the lower air transport within the EAC. Three, direct the Council to expedite the establishment of Sector Council on Labor, Employment and Migration to oversee implementation of commitment under the sector, including portability of public health and social security benefits. Four, direct the partner states to strengthen national and regional capacity to implement the consultative dialogue framework, to undertake regular interface with the private sector, civil society, and the other interest group. And 5, direct the partner states to reinvigorate standalone ministries for EAC affairs for better coordination. Mr. Speaker, the summit of EAC heads of states directed the Council to re-examine further the resolutions. The Council has directed the Secretariat to convene a retreat of permanent principal undersecretaries accompanied by technical experts to re-examine the resolution of the high-level retreat on the EAC common market. Mr. Speaker, this last part is not part of the question which was asked, but as was requested last week in his supplementary question, we are pleased to bring to your attention the shareholding of the East Africa Development Bank as follows. It is attached at the end. So I would wish to present the answer of the question until at page 9. I beg to submit, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now, Honorable Francine.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have a question regarding the responses given by the Honorable Minister. If I go straight to the part where the Minister is talking about the recommendation, that the directive from the summit, where he's stating the Council presented the following resolutions to the 22nd summit of the head of states on 22nd July 2022. Now he's giving us a framework of, let's say, a homework which was given by the summit for the Council and the Secretariat to implement the Common Market Protocol. I would like to hear from the Council the roadmap for the implementation of those directives, because that is where now the key questions are. If it is now able, he is not able to give those answers for now, but for the next questions, we need to have the roadmap of those directives from for the summit, so that we can see the roadmap, the challenges, and how far we are going for this community to have a community driven by the people, as it is stated by the governance of this community. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Information, sir.
Honorable Suleiman.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm responding to the answers given by the Minister for United Republic of Tanzania, in which he said clearly here that the Class A shareholders of East African Development Bank, which is Republic of Kenya, 25%, United Republic of Tanzania, 25%, Republic of Uganda, 25%, Republic of Rwanda, 14.83%. Therefore, the East African countries own 89%, and they're the shareholders of Class A, which means they own this institution. If this is the case, then it means clearly that the East African Development Bank falls under the jurisdiction of this assembly. Because it also clearly states here that the institutions of Class B have no voting rights. So on what basis has this institution purported not to report to this assembly for all those years? And I would request the Honorable Minister from Tanzania to make sure that the Council of Ministers now imposes the jurisdiction. Otherwise, where does this bank report to? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question. Information.
I have 3 members.
Clarification.
Wait, Honorable Sanko, we have information. Let's take first information, then we go to your question.
Procedure. Yeah. Mine is a clarification, Right Honorable Speaker. I want a clarification from the minister.
From the minister?
Yes.
It's a question, then.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want a clarification. What is the difference between the East African community? Is there a difference between Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda with the East African community?
Thank you. Now we go to Sankok and Honorable Ndangiza.
And James. Honorable Speaker, I have an additional question. And to the Honorable Minister from the United Republic of Tanzania. He's a very good man and committed to this assembly. We thank you for that. And I think you should also transfer that one to your colleagues so that they can also be very attentive. You have always attended, we appreciate that. But my question, Honorable Speaker, the bank does not pay dividends, but reinvest all profits back into the capital of the bank. If that is the case, then we want to know, since it was established, how much have it grown? Because if it is reinvesting everything back to the bank, then we expect the capital of the bank to have increased either by 300%, 1,000%, so that we know. Honorable Speaker, that is my question. Honorable Speaker, you are a great man.
Honorable Ndangiza, then Honorable James. And we stop there.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm happy that regarding the bank, what I said last week, that East African community members have more shares, although it was challenged by one of the members, these figures clearly show that East Africa is the largest shareholder with 89%, close to 90%. I therefore want to urge the ministers really to pick keen interest in this bank. And there is no way we can have East African Development Bank using the name of the bank, having more shareholders being East Africans, and working on its own without the involvement of the council. So I really want you, council, to pick interest in this bank. And also the chair, legal rules and privileges.
Information, Mr. Speaker.
Fast track the petition. Thank you.
Information. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to provide more information.
Be quick.
Very briefly, Mr. Speaker, that your assembly has been petitioned by some interested East Africans on the performance of this bank. That there are some issues of mismanagement of funds, embezzlement of funds, and issues of non-adherence to good governance, issues of illicit transfer of funds associated with this bank. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that matter was referred to the Legal Rules and Privileges Committee. And the committee is now dealing with it. So, Mr. Speaker, this bank, Article 9, because when we come to the assembly, we are given the treaty and the rules of procedure. Article 9 defines the East African Development Bank as one of the surviving institutions of the community, and therefore is a de facto institution of this community. But the council tells us a different story, and they haven't amended the treaty. Now, when new members come, and if any other person reads the treaty, these people will know that the EADB is an institution of the community. Now, why don't they help us to make an amendment, a quick amendment, so that everyone who is going to read the treaty knows that this bank is not an institution of the community, or they make a declaration that it is, so that we know, and then they bring it to order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Speaker.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Information.
Honorable Makame, the information is crystal clear. We own 89% of this bank. We don't need any further clarification. It is right there.
Thank you.
And we are the ones holding the voting rights. Therefore, it is our responsibility to oversight this institution.
Thank you.
Information.
Now, information.
Yes. Speaker, I'll be very brief.
But there is Honorable James.
Oh, okay.
Who has been there before you?
On the floor, okay. Honorable Speaker, it has come to our attention that, it's clear we own 89% of this bank. I just want to really ask the ministers present, because and the CTC, because from our own common practice in partner states countries, the national parliament, whatever institutions is run under the parastatal kind of engagement, the national parliaments have a mandate to scrutinize its running, and reports are given to the parliament. If this institution is owned by East Africans, confirmed today, why can't we have that mandate, cross-check on how it's run, whether, what direction?
Thank you.
But again, Honorable Speaker, I'm asking the council and CTC, can you come with a clear translation of the treaty? Because this lacuna, who does it benefit? Is it, is there a lacuna within the law or there's no? Please come with there, educate this parliament on your own feelings and legal stand about this treaty, Article 9, as he said.
Further information.
Is it about corruption? That, the people who are running, MD and the board across, that bank, are they so much benefiting, out of this bank? That's why they don't want the East African Parliament to know exactly what is going on within the bank.
Procedure,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the issue of corruption in respect of this bank has been referred to my committee, and it is pending for the committee to debate and make our deliberation to this assembly.
Thank you. Honorable George.
Right, Honorable Speaker. We are dealing with definitions here. The day the treaty was passed and it upheld that partner states remain sovereign, it meant that sovereign partner states can enter into contracts, can procure shares. And my understanding is that the ownership of the shares is as per sovereign states. Uganda owns shares as a sovereign state. Kenya owns shares as a sovereign state. Tanzania owns shares as a sovereign state. Rwanda owns shares as a sovereign state. That does not mean that the East African community owns the shares. That's the distinction we have got to draw. We derive our mandate from that treaty. Now, what we should be asking the council is the identity crisis that the bank suffers. On one hand, it is mentioned as the surviving institutions of the old EAC. And indeed, there is a directive of summit asking council and the secretariat to fast track the reclaiming of the EADB. Implicitly, what that directive implies is that it is not within the purview of the East African community. The summit directive implies that the East African Development Bank is not within the purview of the East African community in the strict sense, because in 1980, a charter of the East African Development Bank was signed. And in that charter, if you read it, it excludes the East African Development Bank from the treaty and even opens its ownership, its shareholding to private holders. That means it has taken a personality of its own. It is no longer an institution within the purview of the East African community, although East Africans as citizens from the various partner states are the highest shareholders. That's why the committee is treating this matter as a public interest matter. Right, Honorable Speaker, I thought that information is very useful for our debate.
Honorable members.
Information, Right, Honorable Speaker.
Are we going till?
This is an issue of importance.
You have to take your. Okay.
Yes.
Be brief.
Yeah, I'm
You
going
are
to
the
be
last
brief. Yeah, yes, Right Honorable Speaker. When my information is when we start acting as interpreters in this room, it will confuse us further. We have the counsel to the community who is present with us here. For us to put this matter into rest, we need an interpretation from the counsel to the community so that we can be able to know exactly whether the bank is under the purview of the EAC or it's not. Because to me, EAC is made out of the partner states. EAC is not existing in vacuum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you again for the opportunity. I will try to make sure that I respond to all the questions, and I am still trying to learn the names of my fellow members of the parliament. There are those interesting names, so it is easy to catch them. There are those who are too vocal, and there are those who are always making fun of each other. So there are some who I have managed to note their names easily. So if I misspell the name or does something which is not proper, please bear with me. It's my learning process. Right, Honorable Speaker, with the first additional question from the member who asked the question, Honorable Tazana. By June this year, we hope the retreat would have been done in this financial year. So the action plan or the schedule which she was asking for will be just put in place when the retreat is done so that we can have the follow-up of what is supposed to be conducted. Then, Right Honorable Speaker, after that question, then followed up the question for the East Africa Development Bank. And Honorable Dongo has put it clear, as I would have put it initially, that me having the legal background, the historical background of being a lawyer, I can see where the problem is, as he said. As much as Article 9 interprets the East Africa Development Bank as the surviving organ of the East Africa Corporation, but yet the bank has its shareholders who owns it legally. And that's where the question of Honorable Slanda Blacks comes in, differentiating between East Africa and the 4 member states. And the question is, 4 member states are not East Africa. The 4 member states are the 4 member states of the East Africa. And if they own a bank, it is theirs. That's why we have the other members in there. And to put a more solving mechanism of the question, the Council of Ministers have in the past urged the East Africa Development Bank governing council to consider the EAC development plans in setting the priorities of the bank. It was in EAC COM 40 decision number 8. But also it urged the East Africa Development Bank governing council to annually inform the summit of the performance of the bank. And that was decision 11. Lastly, it urged the partner states who are not members of the East Africa Development Bank to formally seek admission as members of the EADB by acquiring shares. Now, we have to go to the drawing board and see what we have to do to make it a surviving organ of the EAC as per the shareholding and the treaty as it is now. As of now, Right Honorable Speaker, as I see it, will be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I think if the partner state could adhere to what the Council of Ministers was directed by the summit to make sure that every partner state subscribes to the EADB, that will easen up the question we have at hand. Honorable Sankok asked the capital if it has raised, if it has gone down. I should declare that we do not have those information as of now, but if we are given time, and I hope we're given, we can acquire those informations. And as of now, you know that we are like struggling to know what is inside. We can catch some things and some are not in us. So we should get some times and make sure that we come with all whatever we have to come with out of the bank. And lastly, Honorable Media, Article 9, I think I have replied to that one. Honorable Nangiza has asked the Council of Ministers to take interest, and I think that's what I will finish with. From the experience I have got from these 3-4 days on the East Africa Development Bank, I think really the Council of Ministers need to take a bigger interest in this one and make sure that we solve this question once and for all. By now making it out loud and clear, we are not expounding it as is it the EAC organ or not, but the documents shows by itself the complications we have. No one is disputing that Article 9 makes it the surviving organ of the EAC, but the accounts does not suppose that way. So we should go back to the drawing board, we as Council of Ministers, and we have taken great interest in it so that we can expound the answer and come up with what the East Africans have to benefit from it. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now, it is time for us to adjourn. We adjourn this house, and we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.